Good morning, Gainesville. I'm Virginia Grant with Gainesville Black Professionals, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Synergy, the podcast. Today, we have the wonderful opportunity of talking with Chelsea Boland. Chelsea is the outreach recruitment specialist for Partnership for Strong Families. Hey, Chelsea, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me, Virginia.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Chelsea, tell me a little bit about what you do at Partnership for Strong Families.
Of course. So, my main role is to reach out in the community, be out in the community and sharing our critical need for more foster parents. So, I connect with churches, businesses, community groups, any way I can get the need out there and make people more aware of what's going on behind the scenes. And we know people will care if we can just help more people find out.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about that. I know that there is a strong and urgent need for more foster parents in our community at large. I know you all service like 13 different counties and you're always looking for new foster parents. Can you tell me a little bit about what a person that's interested in becoming a foster parent can expect? What is a foster parent?
Yeah, so we do cover 13 counties, like you mentioned. So we have a huge area of kids to cover. Right now, we have more than 800 children in foster care. So some
Wow.
of those are with relatives, but a lot of them are with a traditional licensed foster care home. And that's somebody who's gone through training. They've been background checked, they've been approved, they're ready, they have bed space, they're ready to take in a child at that moment's notice.
Right.
And that's what we really need, more homes open and available, because we don't know when children are going to come into care. It could be day or night, early morning, late nights. At any moment we need availabilities, and we just don't have enough space. So for those over 800 children, we only have 120 foster homes throughout
Wow.
our entire 13 counties. So there's a really big need for more.
That is a huge gap.
Mhm.
So what I'm hearing is that we need more homes, more families, more parents that are available on that moment's notice. In the middle of the afternoon, a child is having to be removed from the home and there's not a aunt or there's not a someone that can take
Mhm.
them in. We need to be able to take them to another safe home and not and I hate to say this, but I used to work in social services. So I've heard the stories of where you all have to bring them to the office and they're sitting in someone's office for hours waiting for placement. And what I think I'm hearing, Chelsea, is that you all would prefer to have someone that you can call and say, "Hey, Miss Johnson, I got this kid. He's 8 years old. He needs somewhere to go." And we get him in a home for the night and figure out, what we're going to do in the morning, but at least we got somewhere to get him started for a few days.
Yeah, you're 100% right. We have a placement team that works super, super hard, making those phone calls, trying to find places for our kids that come into care. I think last night there was a baby that came into care that they were looking for placement for. So there's always something going on. They're always working super hard. And yes, a home is always going to be the best
The
choice.
best place, yeah.
And we also need homes that can keep sibling groups together, is a really, really big need we have. About half the time when kids come into care, they're separated from their siblings. So not only are they taking out of their home, away from their parents, everything they've ever known, they can't take their stuff, they can only bring a small amount of things. Everything they've ever known is gone, and now they're also separated from their sibling. So we need homes that could take multiple kids at a time.
Yeah.
We also want to keep kids in their community, but over half the time, again, kids are having to leave their county that they're removed from. So since we cover 13 counties, a child could be removed from Alachua and placed in Suwannee County
Yeah.
or Columbia County, could be removed from Columbia County, placed in Bradford County.
Right.
So once again, now you're leaving your teachers, your friends, everything that's familiar to you. So it's very, very traumatic to have to be in foster care in the first place, and
Mhm.
we want to minimize that trauma as much as possible.
Yeah, so we can remove some of those other factors. If we had 200 foster families in every counties that you all serve just on standby, then
Mhm.
we can make sure that maybe these kids, when they wake up in the morning, can at least go back to the same school, can at least bring their siblings with them, maybe even be able to bring a little bit more stuff from home because we
Mhm.
know where they're going. But let's also talk about, I know the goal is always reunification when it's safe and when we can. So tell us, is it easier for that reunification process to happen when that child is near that family to their own home? How does that impact the whole process?
Yeah, I feel like you're reading my mind because I was just going to bring that up as another point of keeping them close to home helps facilitate the relationships with their biological parent. So, obviously, it's easier when you're 10, 20 minutes away from somebody than an hour, 2 hours away to facilitate those visits. Foster care is supposed to be temporary, and the goal is reunification when safe to do so. So it does help our foster parents maintain that
Yeah,
relationship with bio families and reassures the child, no, I know your mom. I know your dad. We can call them. We can send them a video. We can FaceTime. We can meet them at the park. So yes, 100%. It does help with that reunification process as well.
awesome. So I know that there are people that are listening to our podcast, Chelsea. I'm just going to claim that there are people listening to our podcast that want to get involved, that want to learn more. And in that case, who do they contact? How do they learn or find out more information to get involved?
The best, quickest way to get information is to email us
Okay.
at hopepartner@pfsf.org.
Okay.
And we'll get back to you within a day or two, give you some great information to go over. We have a couple different recruitment specialists that will give someone a call, answer their questions. Another great way is we have monthly virtual info sessions.
Oh,
So the
cool.
fourth Tuesday of every month, I'm getting on Zoom and it's about an hour, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I go over in detail what is foster care, um, information about foster parents, how to become a foster parent, what those next steps are. And we're trying to get people enrolled in our foster parent training classes as soon as
Beautiful.
possible.
Oh, awesome. That is great. So there's two ways. They either email you or they can hop on the Zoom, and we'll share the information for how they can get invited to that Zoom, that monthly Zoom meeting as well. So
Okay.
beautiful. As we wrap up, Chelsea, is there any other final thoughts that you have? Anything else you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, the last thing would be, there could also be people on the call who are really passionate about this, really care about this, but maybe can't open their home at this time. And we do have different donation drives. They
Okay.
can donate financially as well. We're in the middle of our back to school supply drive right now, and we also have a holiday toy drive. And we raise support for our normalcy fund, which helps
Yes.
kids do some extracurricular activities,
Activities.
maybe
Yes.
band equipment, field trips, a summer camp. We want our kids in foster care to have those important childhood experiences.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that additional information because we so often just forget about that part of it. But when children have to be removed from the home, it's traumatic.
Hmm.
There's no other way to say it. That is a traumatizing experience, even in the worst of homes. Having to come out of that
Yeah.
home is traumatizing because that's all that child
Yes.
knows. So for us as a community, um, I'm asking you all as community leaders, participants in our communities, if you have the space, if you have the desire to help with the foster care system, it's valuable because as much as we can reduce that trauma and as much as we can make their foster home as closely connected to their home, it helps to lessen that trauma, to keep them in the same schools, to keep them with their siblings, to let them continue to be able to go to track practice and
Hmm.
try out for band and just have that normalcy in their life. So if you can't foster care, of course, maybe make a donation or contribution in that way as well. Whatever we can do as a community to help support our kids that are in foster care and and not just the kids, their families too. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sure there are parents that appreciate being able to just jump on the phone and say, "Hey, I miss you. I still love you. I'm still here." So it goes so far. Yeah. Well, awesome. Anything else, Chelsea, before we close out?
I would encourage people not to write themselves off if this is something they think, they might be able to do. We have couples, we have singles, we need a broad range of people. We need people who don't already have children, honestly. Like, some
Mm.
of our kids would do best in a home where they're the only one, where they can get all of that support and love and attention. So really, we're looking for anybody, that would be open to saying yes and giving it a shot.
Beautiful. So if you are even thinking about possibly becoming a foster parent and getting more involved in this, please send an email. Chelsea, can you give us that email address again?
Yes, it's Hope Partner at pfsf.org.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, all our audience, for joining us for this episode of Synergy, the podcast.
Thank you.